One of the strongest motives that leads men to art and science is escape from everyday life, with its painful crudity and hopeless dreariness. Such men make this cosmos and its construction the pivot of their emotional life in order to find the peace and security which they cannot find in the narrow whirlpool of personal experience. To dwell on the things that depress or anger us does not help in overcoming them. One must knock them down alone. A society's competitive advantage will come not from how well its schools teach the multiplication and periodic tables, but from how well they stimulate imagination and creativity. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. How did he get his ideas? I'm enough of an artist to draw freely upon my imagination. I believe that love is a better teacher than a sense of duty. He said, at least for me, I believe that the most important mission of a state is to protect the individual and to make it possible for him to develop into a creative personality. Politics is for the present, while our equations are for eternity. It is tasteless to prolong life artificially, he told Dukas. I have done my share. It is time to go. I will do it elegantly. He was a loner with an intimate bond to humanity, a rebel who was suffused with reverence, and thus it was that an imaginative and pertinent clerk became a mind reader of the creator of the cosmos, the locksmith of the mysteries of the atom and the universe. The most beautiful emotion we can experience is mysterious. If we want to resist the powers that threaten to suppress intellectual and individual freedom, we must be clear what is at stake, he said. Without such freedom, there would have been no Shakespeare, no Goethe, no Newton, no Faraday, no Pasteur, no Lister. Freedom was a foundation for creativity. Subtle is the Lord, but malicious is he not. He is not. Falling in love is not the most stupid thing that people do. Einstein scribbled on the letter, but gravitation cannot be held responsible for it. By then, Einstein had finally discovered what was fundamental about America. It can be swept by the waves of what may seem to outsiders to be dangerous political passions, but are instead passing sentiments that are absorbed by its democracy and righted by its constitutional gyroscope. McCarthyism had died down, and Eisenhower had proved a common influence. God's own country become stranger and stranger. Einstein spoke Hans Albert that Christmas, but somehow they managed to return to normality. Everything, even lunacy, is mass-produced here, but everything goes out of fashion very quickly. 9 almost. Science about religion is lame. Religion about science is blind. It was a sunny day, and Einstein merrily played with the telescope's dials and instruments. Elsa came along as well, and it was explained to her that the equipment was used to determine the scope and shape of the universe. She reportedly replied, "Oh, my husband does that on the back of an old envelope." Blind respect for authority is the greatest enemy of truth. Use for yourself little, he said, but give to others much. We never cease to stand like curious children before the great mystery into which we were born. During the crossing, Einstein explained his theory to me every day, and by the time we arrived, I was fully convinced that he really understands it. The value of college education is not learning the many facts, but the training of the mind to think. What do you think of Adolf Hitler? Einstein replied, he is living on the empty stomach of Germany. As soon as economic conditions improve, he will no longer be important. One day, someone called the Institute and asked to speak to a particular dean. When his secretary said that the dean wasn't available, the caller hesitantly asked for Einstein's home address, but was not possible to give out. He was informed. The caller's voice then dropped to a whisper. "Please don't tell anybody," he said, "but I am Dr. Einstein. I'm on my way home, and I've forgotten where my house is. When a person can take pleasure in marching and step to a piece of music, it is enough to make me despise him. He has been given his big brain only by mistake, since the mathematicians have grabbed hold of the theory of relativity. I myself no longer understand it. I believe in Spinoza's God, who reveals himself in the awful, lawful harmony of all that exists, but not in a God who concerns himself with the fate and doings of mankind. Nationalism is an infantile disease, the measles of mankind. The most beautiful emotion we can experience is mysterious. Einstein was asked what the next war would look like. I do not know how World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. Whoa. Einstein was filled with good humor and sagacity, both qualities lacking in Gödel, whose intense lockjaw sometimes overwhelmed Kampmann. Since this was a glorious display, when Gödel decided to become a U.S. citizen in 1947, he took his preparation for the exam very seriously, studied the Constitution carefully, and as might be expected by the formulator of the incompleteness theory, found what he believed was a logical flaw. There was an internal inconsistency he insisted that could allow the entire government to degenerate into tyranny. Concerned, Einstein decided to accompany or chaperone Gödel on his visit to Trenton to take the citizenship test, which was to be administered by the same judge who had done so for Einstein. On the drive, he and a third friend tried to distract Gödel and dissuade him from mentioning this perceived flaw, but to no avail. When the judge asked him about the Constitution, Gödel launched into his proof that the internal inconsistency made a dictatorship possible. Fortunately, the judge, who by now cherished his connection to Einstein, cut Gödel off. You needn't go into all that, he said, and Gödel's citizenship was saved. The attitude we adopt toward the Arab minority will provide the real test of our moral standards as a people. He has departed from this strange world a little ahead of me. That means nothing for us believing physicists. The distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubborn illusion. Should we be able to find a way to honest cooperation and honest pacts with the Arabs, he wrote what was mom in 1929. Then we have learned absolutely nothing during our 2,000 years of suffering. To punish me for my contempt of authority, fate has made me an authority myself. You have to remain critically vigilant, question every premise, challenge conventionally wisdom, and never accept the truth of something merely because everyone else views it as obvious. Resist being credulous. I was originally supposed to become an engineer. He later spoke, a friend, but the thought of having to expend my creative energy on things that make practical everyday life even more refined, with a bleak capital gain as the goal, was unbearable to me. Thinking for its own sake, like music, it is important to foster individuality, he said, for only the individual can produce the new ideas. When shown his office, he was asked what equipment he might need, a desk or table, a chair, paper, and pencils. He replied, "Oh yes, and a large waste basket, so I can throw away all my mistakes." Einstein was not used to self-writing political systems, nor did he fully appreciate how resilient America's democracy and its nurturing and individual liberty could be. So for a while he disdain deepened, but he was saved from serious despair by his weary detachment and his sense of humor. He was not destined to die a bitter man, and he argued that unrestrained capitalism produced great disparities of wealth cycles of boom, here comes the boom, you all that really want it now, and depression and festering levels of unemployment. The system encouraged selfishness instead of cooperation and acquiring wealth rather than serving others. People were educated for careers rather than for a love of work, and creativity in political parties became corrupted by political contributions from owners of great capital. Tolerance of free expression and independence of thought he repeatedly argued were the core values that Americans, to his delight, most cherished. Concern for making life better for ordinary humans must be the chief object of science. Everyone must, from time to time, make a sacrifice on the altar of stupidity to please the deity of mankind. While Einstein appreciated and Mozart and Bach was the clear architectural structure that made their music seem deterministic and, like his own favorite scientific theories, plucked from the universe rather than composed. Beethoven created his music. Einstein once said, but Mozart's music is so pure. It seems to have been ever present in the universe. He contrasted Beethoven with Bach. I feel uncomfortable listening to Beethoven. I think he is too personal, almost naked. Give me Bach, rather, and then more Bach. Mozart's music is so pure and beautiful. Hubble then made an even more amazing discovery by measuring the redshift of the star's spectra, which is the light wave counterpart to the Doppler effect for sound waves. He realized that the galaxies were moving away from us. There were at least two possible explanations for the fact that distant stars in all directions seem to be flying away from us because we are the center of the universe, something that since the time of Copernicus, only our teenage children believe, because the entire metric of the universe was expanding, which meant that everything was stretching out in all directions, so that all galaxies were getting farther away from one another. It became clear that the second explanation was the case when Hubble confirmed that, in general, the galaxies were moving away from us at a speed that was proportional to their distance from us. Those twice as far moved away twice as fast, as far moved away twice as fast, and those 3 times as far moved away 3 times as fast. One way to understand this is to imagine a grid of dots that are each spaced an inch apart on the elastic surface of a balloon. Then assume that the balloon is inflated so that the surface expands to twice its original dimensions. The dots are now 2 inches away from each other, so during the expansion, a dot that was originally 1 inch away moved another 1 inch away, and during that same time period, a dot that was originally 2 inches away moved another 2 inches away. One that was 3 inches away moved another 3 inches away, and one that was 10 inches away moved another 10 inches away. The farther away each dot was originally, the faster it receded from our dot. And that would be true from the vantage point of each and every dot on the balloon, all of which is a simple way to say that the galaxies are not merely flying away from us, but instead the entire metric of space, or the fabric of the cosmos, is expanded to envision this in 3D. Imagine that the dots are raisins and a cake that is bacon and expanding in all directions on E equals mc squared. In other words, there is no single underlying reality that is independent of our observations. It is wrong to think that the task of physics is to find out how nature is, but Hort declared physics concerns that we can say about nature 62 this. The skeptical Silberstein came up to Eddington and said the people believed that only 3 scientists in the world understood general relativity. He had been told that Eddington was one of them. The shy Quaker said nothing. Don't be so modest, Eddington, he said. Silberstein replied Eddington. On the contrary, I'm just wondering who the third might be. Indeed, speaking to thee, therein lies the key, I think, to Einstein's brilliance and the lessons of his life. As a young student, he never did well with rote learning, and later as a theorist, his success came out from the brute strength of his mental processing power, but from his imagination and creativity. To dwell on the things that depress us or anger us does not help in overcoming them. One must knock them down alone. Loyalty to a party, Einstein felt, meant surrendering some independence of thought. Such conformity confounded him. How an intelligent man can subscribe to a party, I find a complete mystery. Einstein rejected the emission theory in favor of postulating that the speed of light beam was constant no matter how fast its source was moving. America's most dangerous internal threat he felt came not from communist subversives, but from those who used the fear of communists to trample civil liberties. America is incomparably less endangered by its own communists than by the hysterical hunt for the few communists that are there, are here, where, everywhere, he told the socialist leader Norman Thomas, speaking again Einstein.